Harry knows I'm not crazy. If I was crazy, I would be pulling some whack shit right now to ruin his career because I literally could if I wanted to. So.
Hi guys, I'm Bella Benson. Welcome to another episode of Too Tired to Be Crazy with me on every Thursday. Today I have a special guest. My special guest is Francesca Farago. So close.
Everyone always pronounces it wrong.
So Francesca, she is Canadian, a Scorpio. She's known for being on Too Hot to Handle, which was on Netflix. Super popular show. I watched it literally the first day. I finished the season that day. She has over 4 million followers. You also have a successful swimsuit line and a bunch of other things, and you're also recently single. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
No problem. It's so great to have you because I saw the Harry recently was on Impulsive, which is Logan Paul's podcast, and I thought it was really funny because I used to bang Logan Paul and you used to bang Harry. So now you get to come on my podcast.
Yeah,
so
way
it was
better.
just like
I like it better here for sure.
Way better. No, I love Logan, but yeah, my podcast is better. 100%.
Yeah. For sure.
Anyway, for anyone that's been living under a rock and has not watched Too Hot to Handle, what can you basically explain the concept of the show?
Basically, they put us like 10 single, relatively attractive people in a house together and didn't tell us why we were there. And they gave us some alcohol, they gave us like weird sex toys, and they told us to have a good time for a few days. And then second day in, they sit us down. And then they drop this huge bomb on us that we're not allowed to touch each other or get sexual. And if we can abstain from sexual anything, then we get 100K.
So then what happened with the sex toys? You guys still had those, but you just couldn't touch them?
Yeah, they were just like sporadically placed around the house. Like in the bedroom, there was a bunch of condoms. In the private suite, there was all these sex toys, but we weren't allowed to use. They wanted to test us, basically. And they wanted to us to form like deeper emotional connections and emotional bonds with each other without sex.
Yeah. Brave of the producers to assume anyone uses condoms on that show.
Yeah.
The condoms were for decoration.
Yeah, I think they were like blowing balloons with them at one point.
I can't believe that. Was it super weird or hard to film a show like that where the cameras are just there on you all the time?
I think everyone who signed up for the show kind of knew what we were getting into, like the reality aspect. Like, you know that there's going to be cameras everywhere, so you kind of have to go into it understanding that that's how it's going to be. And I think for me, after like day 2, I was used to it.
Wait, so then you weren't even allowed to touch yourself, but does that mean there were then cameras in the bathroom and the shower?
Yeah, no masturbating. There was cameras everywhere. The cameras couldn't see like our private parts. It was like the shower was like kind of like marbled, or what's it called? What's the word? Like tinted?
Oh, okay.
Would be the word? Yeah, so they were like tinted, so you could see, but you couldn't see.
Oh, okay. So then if a guy, let's say he's jacking off in the shower and he just won't make any face expressions, so just pretend he's showering, can he get away with it then?
Maybe. But there was mics hanging in the shower. There was mics outside. You had to put your microphone outside when you showered as well. So it was like, if you made like the littlest sound, they could figure it out. Like when there was a scene with Harry and I, and we did something and we thought we got away with it, but I made like the littlest sound, and they put 2 and 2 together.
So then, like, when someone goes to the bathroom, let's say they have explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
Everyone in the like editing room is gonna hear it.
Yeah.
Oh God.
I think that part was the hardest part, having to like go to the bathroom, knowing that like everyone was hearing, and the film crew was like pretty hot, to be honest. It was like a bunch of hot guys, and they were like,
you see, that's what I feel like is more embarrassing. To me, I feel like it's fine, no sex, because you're filming everything fine. But like the fact that like now I know I have to go to, if I go to the bathroom, somebody's recording that, or they can hear me go.
Yeah,
like,
that was weird.
Right?
Yeah, you never got used to that. You never got used to that.
Are you allowed to take off your mic when you go to the bathroom?
No.
Cool. Okay. You're like, well, just in case we need it for editing
I think
purposes.
it's because if someone went into the bathroom and like made out or like whatever, they had to have like mics everywhere.
But if you went by yourself, well, I guess you could masturbate there.
I
got it. Wow, that sucks. What is something that you wish someone told you before you went on the show, or before you got so famous so quickly right after the show?
I don't know, like maybe to, it's hard to say because like looking back on it now, maybe I wish I just wasn't so naive.
Aww.
I wish I just like kind of thought maybe twice or like wasn't so like emotionally involved maybe as I was in the situation.
Maybe it's because you're a Scorpio.
Maybe.
What's something you would say that most people don't even know about you yet?
I'm really nice.
Do you think people usually think you're not?
Yeah, everyone usually thinks that I'm like the villain or like the bitch or that I have like bad intentions, but it's like the complete opposite. I feel like anyone who knows me personally knows that I'm like not like that, but the show kind of portrayed me as like kind of being a little bit selfish, but I like admitted to that. Like it was a reality TV show, like you kind of had to do stuff to like shake it up.
Yeah, so then how much of the reality show is actually real, would you say, in general?
Like the majority of it was real. There was things that were a little bit moved around and words that were kind of cut up in certain ways, but the majority, like what you saw happened. There were situations that were kind of a little bit like moved around, but the majority of it like actually did happen.
Got it. So then anyone that fell in love on the show, like that was real?
I mean, it was real for some people. I don't know if it was real for everyone.
Would you consider yourself a hopeless romantic?
Yeah, I think so, unfortunately. I don't think I am anymore, but I think I was.
I know what you mean. Sometimes you just get super jaded after a really bad breakup.
'Cause you're like, how can I even trust anyone? Like, if the person that like basically said that he wanted to marry me was lying, then how can I fucking trust anyone anymore? You know?
Yeah, and are you talking to someone specific?
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, on the show, you basically started dating, or you were interested in this guy named Harry. What's his last name?
Jowsey.
Harry Jowsey. And what was your impression the first time you saw him?
When I first, like my very, very first impression, I thought he was cute. I thought he was kind of a goofball, and that he was like really tall and like relatively attractive.
Was he your normal type?
I usually go for like guys with, yeah, he is my normal type. It's sad because that's not a good type to have, to be honest. I have a bad type.
How long were you and Harry together for?
After filming, we were together for a few months. We broke up from like September, and then on New Year's is when we started talking again. So
he made it seem that, I mean, he said so many different things.
He said so many different things. Like when we were together, when we were dating, and he was saying that we were broken up for 8 or 9 months or something, and I was like, it just didn't make sense to me because it wasn't true. And I was like, can you stop saying that, because you're making it look like you were being shady, which turned out being the case. Like he was literally dating someone up until the very second we got back together. So
oh yeah, so like the first time you guys broke up, because I remember I watched this somewhere where you guys were saying how some girl came out and she said how he was dating her, and then she was also from the show, and then when you and him got back together, she got upset because she felt like he was playing her or something.
Yeah, so basically the story with that would be when we were still together in the summertime after the show, he wanted to go to Bali to like party with his friends, escape from some drama that he was having in his life and stuff like that. And he was inviting me to go. We were still dating, and he was also inviting this other girl from the show.
And he was just saying he was gonna say yes.
Basically, and a few other people that I found out about as well. So she said no, I said no, everyone said no, and then he ended up going by himself or with his roommate to party, whatever. And then we broke up shortly after that. And then I guess soon after our breakup, he ended up flying her out to Australia, or she flew out to Australia, and she was staying at his mom's house for 2 weeks. They ended up having a really bad situation, breakup, whatever. They didn't talk for a while, and then they got back together. And they were together up until him and I got back together, like literally the very day. I guess he told her. I didn't find any of this out up until the reunion show. I found out that she was in Australia with his family. I had no idea. And then 2 weeks later, I found out that they were dating up until we got back together. And then when we broke up, I hung out with her and she told me everything. So basically he told her that he was only getting back together with me for PR for the show, and that I was in on it, and she was like, okay, that's fucked up, and he just cut her off completely, stopped talking to her completely, basically completely fucked her over. And she's like, what the hell? Was going on interviews saying that what they had was like a one night, he told me it was a one night stand, until I found out at the very last minute that they were like full on dating, and like she flew there and hung out with his family and whatever. So it was just like a clusterfuck of whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah, and then I think he literally went on impulsive, and he said that the reason the first time you guys broke up the first time, and then you started dating someone else like right away.
No.
And it was really heartbreaking for him.
He said that about me.
Yeah.
No, that's not what happened. That interview, like, I only heard bits and pieces, but 90% of it was completely fabricated and misleading. Like, it was not what happened at all. It was not. I love Logan and everything he does, but I do feel like sometimes on this podcast it can be very bro-y sometimes, and I feel like sometimes it makes the women that they talk about look really bad. It was really degrading as well.
One thing I cannot stand when guys talk about anyone they've dated in the past and they call a girl crazy. Because it's like, it takes two people to be in a relationship. And
everyone who knows me knows that I am literally the most calm, cool, collected human ever. Like, it takes a lot for me to go crazy, and even then I don't even like it. I can think of twice in my entire life that I've ever snapped at someone, and they've both been females. Like, I think that every single girl knows that when a guy calls a girl crazy, that it's just a reflection of their actions, I think, because Harry knows I'm not crazy. If I was crazy, I would be pulling some whack shit right now to ruin his career, because I literally could if I wanted to. So I could.
I believe
with
you.
Everything that I know, and I've been so respectful considering everything he put me through. And even after everything he's done to me, I have no desire to even snap. I'm just like, you're disgusting at this point.
What would you say the hardest part was for you guys with dating to make it work? Was it the long distance?
I think, in my opinion, like, I was in love with him and I was invested in their relationship, and it was just one-sided. Like, I think what he told Madison when he was getting back together with me, that he was using me for PR, was true. I just don't understand why he had to go as far as calling me his fiance and telling me to pick out rings and talking about weddings and all that stuff. Like, if you were using me, like, why did you have to go that far?
Do you think the age gap between you guys, because you're 26 and Harry is 23, I think, do you think that played a big role
I think
you guys?
For him, yeah, but he would get so mad at me when I said that, my dog.
So fine.
He would get so mad at me when I brought up the age. He would lose it and be like, can you not say that? Like, it's disrespectful. Like, age has nothing to do with it. Like, in interviews, people would ask me about the age, and I would say, oh, like, it kind of like stresses me out a bit because I don't know if he's ready. But he would be like, no, like, I'm ready. Like, if I want this, and he would get literally mad at me if I brought up the age thing. So I don't really know. I just think it was me being used, me being played, him just doing whatever he could to get as famous as he could. It's sad.
Wait, so how long did you guys then actually date after the show?
We filmed in April. We were together in May, June, July. Broke up in beginning of August, and then we started talking again on New Year's, and we officially got back together in February.
Okay, and then when did you guys break up?
He started breaking up with me, like, basically the day that the reunion came out. The day he proposed he was like, I can't do this anymore, like, la la la. But then he would say that, and then 2 days later he would post a photo on his Instagram and caption it, where should we have the wedding? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm in love with this person. I'm so confused. I don't know what he wants. Like, what does that post mean? And like, I just didn't know what to do. And then we would get into an argument and we would talk for a few days, but then he would post a story being like, oh, thanks, my fiance, I love her so much. And I'm just sitting there and I'm like, it was a mind fuck, because I was like, okay, so we're fine? Like, are we not fine? Like,
he's such a Gemini.
Yeah, and like, meanwhile this was happening, he was doing his own thing with other people and like lying to me about it and all this stuff. Like, I don't really know. Like, it's just...
Yeah. Can I be honest with you? I know after the reunion, like within a week or whatever, one of my friends on her close friends, I saw he was like always hanging out with her.
Yeah.
He was always in their stories, and I'll tell you later who it was.
I know who it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I thought that was already weird. So then I was just like, how much of this reality stuff is real? But
Yeah.
obviously it was real to you,
Yeah.
but not to him. So that's why he's like out there playing the victim when in reality I'm talking to you and there's like all these other things people are not even aware of. The fact that like he's asking you to be his fiance, and I literally see him on my friends' close stories
Yeah.
where they're just hanging out all the time and he's just using her for TikTok.
Yeah.
So he can grow on TikTok, and then he goes on Impulsive, and on Impulsive he starts laughing with Logan about the fact that they both banged her. Because I knew exactly what they were talking about when they said
Yeah.
that, and I was just like,
That just proves that there was shady shit going on that I already knew about. So
I think sometimes if people didn't grow up with love or the way other people have grown up with love, I think sometimes people are not able to offer you the love that you need or the love that you deserve if they never received that type of love. Like I think Harry, I'm sure he did love you, but I think he loved you in the only way he knew how, which may have been toxic or very like back and forth, because a lot of times when we're so scared of getting hurt, we end up hurting the other people.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that does make sense, I think.
And it's hard to, and especially with breakups, I mean, that's what people, I think the hardest thing is to probably go through a relationship in the public eye, because with breakups, they get bad for everyone. It's not just famous people. So like, you can't expect people to just pretend like everything's fine all the time. So of course there's going to be fights where you're going to talk shit about the other person. It's just natural because you're angry. But like, people wouldn't be angry unless there was love there, you know? Or you wouldn't go off on people, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think on both of your ends, like I can see how right now people are just living for the drama of like he said, she said, but I think on both of ends, like when I look at you two, it just seems like two people who are hurting and they're angry because they're in pain and they're just in survival mode.
Yeah.
How did you react when you found out that he removed the tattoo that he had, that he got with you?
Yeah, I like cried for a bit. It was really hard to see. I don't like talking about it.
Okay, we don't have to talk about that. I'm sorry, please don't start to cry, because I'll start to cry. Well,
Sorry.
I'm really happy for you that you're finally crying, because you said that you don't show emotion, so maybe this is finally the breakdown that you needed to
That was
have.
like hard to see when he did that, obviously. Like, that's like fucked up. And especially that he posted a TikTok about it. Like, what the fuck? Like, it just, no, but that's what, like, you say it was survival mode, but for me, I think he's doing whatever he can to make himself be the victim, and like, I don't see I see survival mode in the fact that he doesn't want to ruin his own career. I don't see survival mode in the fact that he was hurting because of the breakup. That's like how I genuinely see it, which is the hardest part for me to accept.
I've dated a lot of younger guys before. I feel like a lot of the times they're really fun, but to be honest, men are not even emotionally developed when they're our age. Mm-hmm. So imagine a man dating somebody that's even younger than you. That means their emotional development is so behind us.
Yeah.
So I feel like Harry's not even gonna realize what he did wrong until years from now, and then he'll come back to you and be like, "Oh, my bad."
I agree with that as well.
Because right now he has a lot of yes people around him, and they're just telling him what he wants to hear, and they're telling him he's the victim, or they're telling him you're the bad person, and it's much easier to hate you.
I think he knows deep down that I'm not the bad person.
I think you're right, actually, because he wouldn't go out of his way so much to make it a point if he truly believed it.
Mm-hmm. And there would be more like contact, like he would be messaging me or something like that.
Why did you guys break up the most recent time? Was it just because he started to let go after he said that you're my wife, or you were engaged?
Yeah, what he was saying to me was, I love you so much, I want to be with you, I want to marry you, but I can't do long distance anymore. That's how it started.
But now you're in LA and he's in LA.
The distance was just like a cop out for him, because I just don't think. But then he said that, but he did a video and he said that he fell out of love in February when we got back together. But if he fell out of love before the show even came out, then he shouldn't have stayed with me, and he shouldn't have proposed to me, and he shouldn't have done all of that. I just think he wanted to be single, and he wanted to be famous, and he wanted attention. And I wasn't like, having me in his life wasn't important enough to sacrifice like fucking bitches.
When did you first realize that you loved him? Was it on the show? Was it after?
Yeah, it was on the show.
Because everything was probably just so fast paced and moving, and
yeah, like when I was like got back from filming, I told my sister, I was saying that I was in love and whatever, and she was saying that she's like, there's no way that you're in love. I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I was with this person 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for a month, and it's not like different shows where like I know The Bachelor, like they go on a few dates, whatever. But I was like living with him, like going to bed, waking up, brushing our teeth, etc., etc., etc.
Yeah.
So you do really fall in love. Well, I did.
When was the first time you told him that you loved him?
The night that I hate saying that I did that, but the night where I lost like $6,000
On the show?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like gambling? What?
No, on the show, yeah.
Wait, $6,000, 3,000 was you lose 3,000 if you kiss. 6,000 is if fellatio?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's like weird. You would think like giving head or something would be like 12,000. Like 6,000 should be like a hand job.
I think, yeah.
Like a booby grab.
Yeah. There was, yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about what was in show, so never mind.
Okay, let's forget about that part. When did he tell you he loved you the same night?
Yeah, he said it first.
Oh, he said it first.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. So what are your thoughts about everything he's been saying? And I wrote down some of the things. Like first, he said the reason you guys broke up was because he was having a really tough week and you weren't supporting him and he was sinking in depression and he asked for you to be there for him as his girlfriend, and then you were like, no, my ex-boyfriend is flying me to Vegas, I want to be with my ex-boyfriend. And he was like, oh my god, but please. And then you were like, bro, I'm straight up not having a good time, like you're ruining my fun time. That's basically, I would say, the overall cliff notes of what he said.
Yeah.
What, is that true?
No. Do I look like the type of person to do that?
No, but
that
it made you sound really selfish. Yeah.
Yeah, he completely twisted that. And yeah, so his mom broke her knee, so I flew to Australia. I was with him for 2 weeks, and then when I got back, I worked a music festival for a day, and then the day after, I flew to Vegas with a few of my girlfriends.
So not your ex-boyfriend?
Not my ex-boyfriend.
Okay.
This guy I used to see is a DJ, and he was playing a party, so we went to the pool party, and we were there, and the entire time I was texting Harry, I was calling him, like he knew everything I was doing, and then I left the pool party, and I went back, like he knows everything that happened that weekend. He knows that my ex didn't fly me out. He knows that I wasn't there partying with my ex. That was complete fabrication. I went with my girlfriends, and he basically twisted that entire story. And it's hard for me to touch on this subject because it's really personal, and I don't want to say anything to make him look bad, but I feel like if it was as hard of a week as he made it out to seem, then he wouldn't have gone to Bali to party with his friends. He would have flew to these family members' houses. He would have been there for them as well, instead of inviting me amongst a bunch of other girls to party with him in Bali. So I feel like that story was just like very misleading. And
oh, so he wasn't with his family or for whatever that was happening that he was talking about, he ended up just going to Bali
to party with his friends, yeah, and hook up with girls.
So he invited you.
He invited me, but
said no.
I had just gotten back from Australia and just gotten back from Vegas, and I had to work, and he wanted me to go to Bali for a weekend to party, which is, I was in Vancouver, it was 12-hour flight, 12-hour time change. I'm like, it doesn't make sense for me to go, and he was like freaking out at me. But meanwhile, he left out during the impulsive that he wasn't just inviting me, he was inviting Madison, he was inviting other girls. So if it was as hard of a week as you made it to seem, you wouldn't have been going to Bali to party with your friends and inviting me and other girls and sleeping with them. You would have been flying to wherever you needed to fly to spend time with those family members, and that wasn't the case. So
then he just pulled the same thing he pulled like the first time you guys broke up, where he invites you somewhere and then he invites a bunch of other girls to see who's gonna say yes.
Basically.
Yikes. And then I also saw that he said that aside from that the day that you guys broke up, which at this point seems, I can't even tell which day that was because it seems like everyone says something different, but he said the day you guys broke up that you were already posting yourself kissing.
No, I could literally find that Snapchat right now. So that what he's referring to, so he broke up with me very disgustingly, started posting videos on his story talking shit about me. And then I went to a party. So I have one of my best guy friends. His name is, I don't bother to say his name. Anyways, his name's John. He's like one of my best friends, still is. We were drinking at his house playing beer pong, and I posted on Snapchat, and we were like drinking, and he kissed me on the cheek. literally, and Harry knows that he's my best guy friend. He knows I've never hooked up with him. It's never gone any further than that. He's literally just one of my best friends.
Oh, so that's it?
And on my Snapchat story, he kissed me on the cheek, and Harry saw it, and that he used that in that story to make it seem like the day I broke up with him, I was making out with guys on my Snapchat story. First of all, I would never fucking do that. Second of all, why are you lying? Because I can just come out with the truth. I can find the fucking Snapchat right now. Like, that's just how fabricated that whole thing was. I think he was just doing anything he could to flip the switch and make me look like the bad guy, and to justify his reasonings by coming up with this story to make me look like I was in the wrong when that wasn't the case.
What were your thoughts when he said that he wanted to sue you for defamation or something because he was losing Instagram followers over you? Which, by the way, is the most like Generation Z thing and like TikToker thing I've ever heard in my life. Like, usually people break up, they're just like, you broke my heart. And instead he's like, well, I lost followers because of you and I'm gonna sue you. Like, that was insane to me.
I don't know. It's everyone from the show. Like, after a reality show, if you're with someone, you break up, that's how it goes. You lose followers. It has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with anything I said or any of my comments on TikTok. I think that people can see who he is, and the only reason that he had a lot of fans, in my opinion, like, was because I forgave him because we were together. Same with me. People followed us for our relationship. So when the relationship was no more, and when you're going online and acting a fool, removing our tattoo, people are like, you're weird, we're gonna unfollow you. It had nothing to do with what I was saying, because I wasn't saying anything. I kept quiet. And considering how quiet I've remained and everything I'm leaving out of what actually happened, that if I was crazy, I would just be going on a rampage, and I'm not. And he's the one who's going on the rampage, trying to do anything he can to be the victim and bash me. So that's why I don't think it was real love. And I know people are hurting, and there's situations where you just like have to get over things and you can lash out, but I don't know, like, there's different ways to handle situations, and because he's handling it so poorly is why he's losing followers. It has nothing to do with me.
Do you think Harry ever cheated on you? That sucks.
Yeah. And I don't know, I feel like if in the 2 months since the breakup, if any accusation I brought forward via TikTok comment or Instagram comment, YouTube comment was false, then I would have been reached out to and been like, what's going on? That's not true. But I was not reached out to once to squash, and no rumor that I've been brought to my attention has been squashed. It's just been like, does that make sense?
No, it makes a lot of sense because with one of my ex-boyfriends, he was always cheating on me, and we still, I'm not saying we never loved each other, we had love there, but just toxic love, and he was cheating on me, but then he was always accusing of me cheating on him. And that's the only reason I'm asking you, because it just reminded me of my ex-boyfriend's behavior. And I was always like, what are you talking about? That guy was just my friend, like, he just like touched my shoulder. And then it would be a way for him to justify him cheating on me.
100%.
So I feel like, do you feel like that's what was happening with Harry sometimes? Do you think it was because of the long distance, or you just think because he just maybe doesn't know how to be in a relationship?
I don't think anything that happened was due to long distance, because he knew that I was going to be moving to LA at the beginning of June. So
has it been really hard for you since the breakup?
Yeah, of course it's been hard. Like, I just kind of been like compartmentalizing it in my brain about like what's been happening and trying to like focus on myself and not think about him. It's just, when someone does me dirty, I kind of like, it's hard to, I don't really blame myself. I kind of just think about like, okay, there's something wrong with the way that you think, and I'm not going to take what you're doing personally. I just kind of feel bad for him a little bit, because like there has to be something kind of going on for the behavior.
Okay, so I'll explain it in a more deeper way, because I get exactly what you're trying to say. And I think what you're saying is also a way of how Scorpios are in general. I feel like you invested so much of your love and your heart and your time in this person. And I know as a Scorpio myself, we love so hard. And I think betrayal is really hard for us to accept. And like, we literally mourn the death of that person without them even dying, because they killed our relationship. And I think the way you're looking at this is actually in a very mature way, where you end up feeling sorry for the other person. So instead of you lashing out only hurt people.
Yeah.
There's no way that somebody that felt love for themselves or felt love from the world or grew up with love would think it's okay to treat someone the way he's treated you, you know? And then also play the victim in it. Yeah. So it's almost like and I agree with you, like I almost feel sorry for him too, because I think like he just doesn't know. I don't think he knows what love is.
Yeah.
What's your definition of love?
It would be just putting that other person before yourself and caring about their happiness either as much or more than your own, like sacrifices and stuff like that. But that's really crazy. It's like really Scorpio love. Like, that's how I think. I don't know. God. I don't know. That's how I think. Like, if I love you, like I'll die for you, basically. But
yeah, that's me too. I'm like that too. In that way. But I think you should also make sure that you have your own happiness too.
Yeah, that's what I realized more after this breakup. It was because I dealt with so much stuff, I think, and I literally was so unhappy, and I just he could do whatever he wanted wrong, and he knew it. He wore the pants. Like, I would forgive him no matter what, up until the point where I found out that
Oh, really?
Yeah.
My friend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, okay.
Oh, okay, got it.
I think people can see through it. I don't know.
I mean, he's charming and attractive, I think, a lot of times. People are gonna notice. And he's just 23-year-old. Like, what do people expect, you know?
Yeah.
So do you think you and Harry were in a healthy relationship?
No. I think it's really hard to be in a healthy relationship when, like, in our situation, from like the very day that we met each other, it was like we were just getting constantly put through tests. I think, like, him lying test, Corey Kells test, long distance test. Everything we went through was just like, it was like never easy. So I think it was like really hard to stay focused on like the important part of the relationship. And I think like when you grow, like some people, if they grow really fast on Instagram and stuff like that, or they get like clout, it becomes like consuming.
Yeah.
So for him it was consuming, for me it wasn't. But
so do you feel like you guys never then really had a chance?
Yeah, I don't think so.
Do you think you guys would have gone together or been able to maintain a relationship if all these other things weren't a factor? If you guys met in real life and you guys didn't have the following and
No.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, that's because you're jaded and you think that he only dated you for fame.
I think so I don't like talking shit about him and the only reason that I'm speaking up about situations now is because I need to defend myself and things that he said. So Vegas, whatever, I have to say my side because I have to say the truth. But I would never go on like saying bad things about him. But his ex-girlfriends have also reached out to me and told me the craziest situations and everything he did to them and like 4 of them. And what he did to me is basically what he did to them, and they had like no fame involved in their relationship. So I feel like it's just who he is as a human. In general, I don't know if I could say that.
So I think maybe I just genuinely don't think he knows what love is yet. And I think he's gonna take him a long time to figure out and realize all the people he's hurt on his path. So do you think you'll ever be able to forgive him with everything that's went down?
I don't know. I don't think that him and I are ever going to speak again, which is really sad to even think about, because like I've thought about reaching out a few times, but then everything that's happened has like jaded the entire situation. Like I think he genuinely, like, he convinces himself that I'm genuine. I think he thinks that he's said it so many times that he genuinely thinks that I'm a bad person at this point.
Would you say you still love him?
I think it's gonna take me a while to not love him. Even on the show, like when he was like pulling shady shit, I still had feelings for him. I think the feelings that I had for him, like the love I had for him, was so real that it's gonna take like a long time for me to like fully move on from that.
Yeah, I think that's, again, like, I hate that I bring up zodiac signs, but that's definitely a Scorpio thing. I feel like it takes me forever. If somebody affects me in a certain way, it takes me a while to like let them go in my heart. Even if I let them go as somebody I'm dating, it's hard for me to let them go in my heart. It's okay.
Fuck, I'm so emotional. I hate this.
You're literally barely any emotions. I cry on pretty much every podcast I do. Sometimes I give advice to someone and then I start crying, and it's so embarrassing.
Yeah.
So you're not emotional. I mean, you're going through a breakup. This is
like I don't think I'm over it, because like sometimes like I'll go through like our old tagged videos and like I'll just watch them and I'll cry. It's so sad. Like even though I hate everything that he's doing, I still do it and I still cry. It's like just like makes me like.
I'm sure he feels the same way, even if he's not showing it.